Well, hey guys, it's Shanna Kramer here with Creatively Uncorked, and today we're going to paint this Christmas gnome. The goals that we're going to reach on this one, we're going to paint gold that looks like gold, but without using any gold. So let's see if I can just grab my image here. There we go. All right, so here is my Father Christmas gnome, and we are going to first start by sketching this guy onto our canvas. And as you can see right now, we've got not even the right shape at all. We've got a vertical canvas, and you can use a horizontal canvas if you want. I just preferred doing this. And we've a couple of things that we're going to do is draw this background. We're going to move things around a little. No big deal. I'll just move it over here. Okay. Grabbing a pencil. So no matter what, even though this shape does not match this shape, there are some things that are going to be consistent. For example, the hat ends about 2/3 of the way down. So we'll go 2/3 of the way down, and there's the hat. A little ways below that, we have a great big old gnome nose. He's got some cheeks, little circles on the left and right. And there's going to be quite a lot of hair coming out. He's almost got eyes back there, but I don't know if we want to draw eyes on a gnome. Maybe not. So we'll take, he's got a big mustache. And that kind of goes right straight into his beard. All right, so now we've got the gnome. We can have his hair all coming out. Okay, do the hat. Probably, yeah, we'll make it wider because those trees in the background aren't really adding to the composition. So we don't need those. And his big old hat just comes right off of the page. And we can decide later if we want to put some, maybe we want some Christmas trees of some kind over back here. Yeah, maybe like that. Okay, so now on to the background. I'll just start out with a big brush, dunk that in some water. Okay, and then I'll go into the black paint. Trying to keep it pure black. It's very dark behind the trees, behind the gnome. So just make sure we get enough black in there. And it just streaks straight up toward the top. Gets a little gray around his hat, but overall it's streaking pretty much straight up. Now you can see why I didn't bother to draw those trees in too much detail. This is acrylic paint that we're using today. And acrylic paint dries quickly, dries permanently. Good for your canvas, bad for your brush. You can see this brush has had better days. When I press it down, the the bristles don't bend all the way, but that's because they've had paint dried in them too many times. So take care of your brushes. When you're done with your painting, take your brushes to the sink and clean them with soap and water, and just leave them in your water in the meantime. Okay, let's get this little guy out of here. I'll just move him off over to the side. That side, this side, and let's put it there. Okay. Okay, so I've got some black for the background. Let's see, there are a few other areas that are dark, like right up in here. And then, well, maybe we can do that now. I'll switch to a smaller brush. So this brush that I have now is a small flat brush, about 1/4 of an inch. And, okay, I guess I will. I'll add my shadow under the hat. Okay, I'll just leave that there ready to be blended in or painted over, whichever. And I'll take a little bit of this black also, going right under that mustache. So under the mustache, he's going to have a little bit of beard hair coming down. It's not going to be black in the end, it'll be gray. But we'll just start out by painting with black. Ooh, how's that? He's got kind of a dark circle around his nose. Okay. Now, while I'm at it, I'm just going to take a little bit of white. Actually, I'm going to switch to a fuzzy brush. I just got these new fuzzy brushes. They're super, super fuzzy bristles. So they make a nice texture. Great for painting hair and anything else with texture, really. How many of you have Christmas gnomes as part of your holiday decor? How many people have gnomes as part of their regular decor? Not just at Christmas. I know people have yard gnomes, roof gnomes, tree gnomes. See them all the time, so I know some of you have them. Okay, so if I paint over this beard and I get too close to the edge, I will start picking up a little bit of black and blending it in. And I don't want to do that too much right now because I want that to be white. But you see what's happening when I just put the black down. While the black is still wet, come back and brush over it with white. And the black will blend in and I'll get a nice gray, a nice choppy gray. All right, that is not a finished beard. We'll come back and make some adjustments to that once it's dry. Brush in the water, we'll let it sit there for a few minutes and move on. So let's see here. We've got the beard, we've got most of the background. Let's finish that background. We started off with the vertical black streaks. Well, now let's do some vertical white streaks. And just dropping some paint in, and just in case I pick that black paint up, I'm just going to wipe off my brush and the paper towel, get rid of it before picking up a little bit more. This black in the background is pretty dry, so not really picking up too much of it. So the goal for the background is just to have an interesting looking streaky black and white background. That's it. That's all. Something that'll sit nicely in the background, not to attract too much attention. All right. So now that we're at this point with this guy, maybe I want to see this brush. I'll just darken that background a little bit. So when I hold my brush down like this, I have some water on the brush from dipping it in the water, picking up the paint. So there's still water there. So then I can tap that on the paper towel, have it soak up the extra water. Okay, so I'll come up here to just under the hat on the background. I think I do want to darken that. Okay. Now we'll take this guy, set it aside, and start mixing some colors. All right, so when we get started on our gold, and I'm just going to leave this here for reference, but you can see the gold is kind of a brownish color, kind of a yellowish brownish, almost greenish. So we're going to mix all three colors. We're going to have yellow, red, and blue. When we're doing the blend, there are really two colors that we need to do. Let's take a look at this guy up here. We'll have to make this darkest color, like you see on the left and right of the hat, and then we'll also have to make the lightest color, which is not quite white, but second closest to the white that you see right on the hat. So we'll get this out of here and start our color mixing. If you're mixing a bunch of color at one time, it's usually best to mix it with a paint knife or something like that, but I haven't got one handy, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my brush. So now, this color that I'm looking at this brown color on the hat, on the side of the hat, and that's going to be a lot of orange. So I'll take a lot of yellow, a little bit of red, maybe a little more yellow. All right, so now in comparison, this color is way too bright, so we need to dull it down with some blue. Start with a small amount of blue because it's a very, very overpowering color. Okay, now it's, let's see, I'll just hold it up here for comparison. Now it's a little too green, so we'll go back and add some more yellow. Whoops, too, there. Okay, so now it's too yellow, too green, so we'll mix in some red. Oh, that's a pretty powerful red. We'll keep adding some yellow. How's it looking? Way too red? Now it's looking a little too orange. More blue in there, just a tiny dot. Oh, more blue. Blue really gets overpowering very quickly, doesn't it? Okay. Sounds strange, but we're not that far off now. Let's see. That'll go on the edge of the hat. How's that looking in comparison? See, it's looking not too pretty here on this canvas, but it's not that far off. That's pretty darn close, actually. I could maybe add a little bit of yellow. There, what do you think? Comparing it on screen, I think it's actually pretty darn close. So, just get back to the painting here, and I'll just take that dark color, and I know I have that on the rim of the hat. And this is mostly going to be the outside edges. Got a lot of extra paint in the brush here. Okay, now we're going to need a lighter color. Lighter color is going to be a version of this mixture that we made, but we're also going to put yellow in it and white. Actually, let's put some trees back there before we do some crazy trees. like stacked triangles. The only reason I'm doing these now instead of later is because I already have the color mixed up, and once I get going mixing colors, it might change. So when you're mixing up a custom color like this, it's always best to mix more than you need so that you don't have to try mixing it twice. Okay, I'll take a little more yellow into that, a little white into that. Not quite as bright as we want it. Okay, I'll try a little more pure color. So I'll take a little yellow from over here, add it to the white. Start with a light yellow. Yeah, this is a really cool yellow. Nope, too orange. Oh, you know what? We still have his cheeks to do, so I think while we have that orangey color, let's just go ahead and put that on his cheeks. Okay, I have the fuzzy bristle brush again, and I'll just pick up some of this cheek color, which is very similar to the dark hat color. The difference is this is a little more white, a little more red. Okay, so leave those cheeks alone, let them dry a little, and brush back in the water, and we'll get back to that yellow. This is a really bright yellow. Well, let's see how it looks. Definitely not yellow enough. So get some of the excess paint out of the brush, and we'll go back with more yellow. Ooh. Now his hat is kind of a little bit choppy looking, and we might be able to get some of a blend in there doing it this way. Just kind of chop, 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 choppy, chop, chop. All right. Not quite getting the feeling of gold from that. Let's see, what else can we do? Okay. Oh, we're getting some shiny parts in here now. And you might even have a little bit of snow on his hat. Maybe it's not just reflection. Maybe there's also some snow. But let's get to that reflection. There'll be one bright, bright reflection. We'll do that not directly in the center, but like let's go slightly left of center here. Now this paint is pretty wet right now. I'm gonna let that sit, let that paint dry a little bit before coming back and mixing any other colors over it. So this is where we practice patience. Wait for the paint to dry. All right. Okay, I'll get that brush aside. Flip over some paper towels here, get a clean side. Okay. So if we go back to that small round brush, clean that out as much as possible. And then I want a lighter, like that skin color, but much lighter because this is going to be the highlight. But not the brightest highlight, I think. I think we can go another tier after this of brightness. So this will actually end up being the mid-tone. Okay, we'll do the same thing on that, on the nose. All right, back to waiting patiently momentarily. All right, back to the big bristle brush. We'll take some more white. And we'll just do little wisps of hair coming out from under his hat. Some brighter white pieces of his beard. Got a little gold in his beard on this side. That's okay. It kind of adds a nice little shine. On that end, I could actually do a little bit of a blue highlight. Blue shadow? Okay, so how are we doing on that? I want a new color. So this in-between color, if I can, haha, here's my image. But the in-between color between the darkest of the dark gold and the lightest of the light gold, I don't think we're quite there yet. Now, this is a new yellow that I'm working with today. I'm not sure. Sometimes with some colors, all colors are not created equal. You can't always get the exact color that you're after, but I don't know. I think I can get a little closer. So this guy over here. So there will be more yellow. All right, that's all I need. Okay, do I want to start with this mixture at all? Let's try it. Okay. All right, we'll go mostly yellow this time because we do want a nice punch of color in here. This is going to be the most colorful part. It's not quite that red though. Okay, that is a little bright. And I'm going to be putting this in this part of the hat. So right now it's way too yellow, way too bright. Teeny tiny little dot of blue. See, that blue is so powerful. Yeah, and that cooled it down quite a lot. So now we'll kind of mix these two together, get it warm back up again. Reds and yellows being your warm colors, blue being the cool color. Sometimes you just have to add it to the canvas to see what it's going to look like. And you can hold up your brush and compare all you want. Yep, that's a little too warm, so we'll go back into some more blue. Okay, I'm just going to punch up some of those colors between the highlights and the shadows. So just to note, there's one thing here that I did not do, and that is add white paint to lighten it up. If you want your colors to have pow, don't add white. White will make your paints look a little more chalky and washed out, kind of like this right here. That's how this is kind of faded and washed out. But look at this new yellow that we're putting down now. That's pretty punchy. Okay. Right back to, well, I don't know if I want to go back entirely to the old color because there was white in it. But maybe if I take some of this dark color. Okay, that's a pretty good color. See, this is a little bit more green. And that could even be a little darker, so ooh, gotta be careful with that black, with that blue. Get your colors mixed really well for this. There are times that it's better to mix your paint on the canvas, but in this case, mix it up on your plate first and then go to the canvas. Okay. All right. We'll keep going like that. Way more yellow. Tiny dot of blue. Way more yellow. Okay, we're going back to this darkest dark. Can we do that with a little bit more of a reddish color, maybe? Okay, it can be darker than that. I'm trying to darken it with colors before I go to black because black will um, kind of dull down all your colors, just like white makes your colors look chalky. All right, I think that's looking like a pretty good color. Yeah, that's a nice thing about acrylic paint is it dries very quickly, dries permanently. So when you're building up layers on your canvas, it's really easy to build up layers. Just keep going. Put your paint down thin enough, it'll be dry in minutes. You just come back and paint over. So now we've got some kind of green golds, some kind of blue golds, some kind of reddish browns, some mixtures of some really weird colors, and now we're starting to make it look like gold. And if you paint over it 16 times, that's okay. Okay, now I'm going to do the forbidden. Add black. Still not dark enough. Still not dark enough. Okay, a little more black. There we go. So now we'll just make it, some of these are going to be just our dark shadows. Okay. How's that looking? Ooh, you know what might be fun? A nice Christmas star. Yeah. But we'll work on those trees first. We'll get that finished up. Okay, so I'm going into kind of the medium color again. And then the light color. Probably going to need some white in that lighter color. Yes, all of these colors that we're using are transparent, with the exception of the white and, well, the black. So if you can mix all these colors together and they aren't going to cover up what's underneath them. All of the red, yellow, and blue are like that. All right, how's it looking? I don't think I want to mess too much more with the hat as I mess with the hat. Yeah, all right. Okay. But that face definitely needs some messing with. Let's do that. All right, so I think this is my smallest brush today. It's a flat. And the flats are going to be, you can do thin lines, thick lines, you can do nice straight lines, whatever you want to do. Um, Not very good for organic shapes, but you can draw with them. So let's see. I'm going to take some more black. I'm going to go into this dark color. Yummy. Oh, that's not where I wanted that, I think. Oofta. Okay. We'll cover that up later. Um, yeah, so I'll just put some shadows around the cheeks. Maybe some lighter shadows. And some dark around the nose. Set that off from the cheeks a little bit. Man, now his nose isn't round anymore. Okay, back to the light colors. Hmm. Nope, that's more gray. Okay. Yep, mix up more than you need because you never know. Might need that color later. All right, I'll move on to this weird hair he's got here. He is going to have highlights on his cheek, so maybe we can do that now. And I just want to kind of move on from the face here because okay. Let's see now. If we get the lights and the darks in about the right spot. Cast thick white. I'm just dunking my brush straight into the white here. And so I'm kind of loading the brush with white. And then adding little chunks and wisps of hair and beard and whatever else might be coming out of this guy's head. And this is why I say you can do thin lines with a flat brush because I'm just using the skinny edge. Just moving the brush sideways. Leave that mustache alone, kind of. A little bit. There, we'll get that line to blend in a little. Gnomes are so weird looking. This gnome is particularly weird looking. Mostly gnomes are just hats and ears, so or hats and noses. I'm just going to make that nose huge. Great big nose. Yep, that was a shadow. Okay, walking away, leaving it alone, not touching it again, except for just this little highlight right here. Okay, letting it go. Put down the brush, step away from the canvas. Good boy. All right. Okay, stop touching the canvas. Got it? Okay, stop. Well, now it looks like he's got eyes, even though he doesn't have eyes. So let's leave it like that. How is his mustache looking? These mustaches are so fun, though. You can just keep painting these for days. Okay, moving on, we'll go back to a darker color, which will be, we'll use mostly black here, a little white. So we'll go with the dark gray. Trying to keep thin lines here. Dark gray that's not completely black. There, just some wisps of beard. Kind of make a shadow under the mustache. Separate the mustache a little bit. Rinse that brush. A little more white here. Oof. There we go. Lighten up some of those darks a little. It got a little heavy. Under the nose that I don't want to paint again, so gotta lighten it up the nice way. Paint inside the lines, right? Otherwise you gotta otherwise you gotta fix your edges. Okay. The real question is, can I live with this? And the answer is not. yet. Take some more white here, and if I can make his cheeks look less like apples. Alright. Bring in some big white in that mustache. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to blame those, highlights on the cheek for making it look weird and fix them. Alright, so now I need to come back to a kind of a skin color. Is this close? Is this close? Is this close? Too much red. Is that close? Yes, close enough. Close enough for rock and roll. For rock and roll and Christmas gnomes. There, he's got some pink cheeks instead of glowing cheeks. Is that better? I think so. Oh boy, here we go. Dangerous territory again. Don't do it. Okay. Don't do it. I've added blue to a few spots and not liked it later, so I better not do it. But I will take that white. Around those cheeks a little more. When everything's white and nothing stands out, so I'm just gonna add a few little dark specks in here. Okay, so let's take a step back and see what we think. Beard, okay. Cheeks, okay. Nose, sure, you betcha. And yeah, what do you think of that gold? We tried what we could to match our colors up here. I think it could definitely go a little darker on the outside edges. Oh boy, now I want to try it. It's an exercise in color mixing after all, right? Only thing I tried adding white and black to it. It's going to gray it down quite a bit. And I'll just put a few specks of this color around here and there. You don't have to fill everything in solid all the time. This is a little bit more of an impressionistic style where you just kind of put a few dots of color, dots and dashes, instead of blending it all together, which can have a really, really nice effect actually. Okay, that's a little red, so we might try a little blue. Okay, is that better? Worse? What do you think? Should we keep going? Okay. There. Hands off a minute. Let's see what we're looking at. That got kind of dark right there. Okay, so that actually, even though it looked like a dull color, it did punch in a bunch of added new texture and new color. The original color was kind of dull. It kind of faded out a lot. So we ended up with bringing back new color mixes, and the new color mixes did not use white or black, and that was to get these bright pop colors and even to use these bright colors down in the edges. So now we have some good contrast. These are basically the colors that make up gold. You can use red, yellow, and blue, and we got really pretty close. I'm not sure if we could get closer, but that's how you mix up gold. Hi, Jenny. Good to see you. Thanks for watching today. I'm Shanna Kramer with Creatively Uncorked, and this is a painting for our Creatively Uncorked members, members.creativelyuncorked.com, and this has been a lesson on blending golds. See you next week.